Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the podcast, The Endurance of Labor Laws. I am your lovely host, Lesley Sullivan, and today is episode 137. And we're going to take a look at the Superfund sites located in the state of Nebraska. But first of all, let me give a big shout out to my listeners because as usual, you guys are awesome. So a big shout out to Nevada, Minnesota, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Oregon, New York, Virginia, Texas, Oklahoma, in terms of countries, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Russian Federation. Good to see you guys. Okay, so Nebraska does have some Superfund sites. I'm kind of disappointed that they have as many as they do. However, they are not as bad as California or the upper northeastern part of the United States, so kudos for that. They do not have any that are being proposed to being added to the list. However, they don't have very many that have been deleted from the list. And again, if you're new to this podcast, the list that I'm referring to is the national priorities list. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. So the first group that I'm going to discuss are the ones that are currently active on the national priorities list. They have not been cleaned up. They are still a problem. They are still a hazard to the environment, which includes you and me, plant life, animal life, all of it. So they are still an issue. So the first one is 10th Street site. It is located in the county of Platte. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Their population as of 2010 was 32,237 people. The issue with this one was groundwater and soil contamination by VOCs from dry cleaning. Not good there. This one was listed or added to the list August 30th, 1990. The next one is Bruno Co-op Association, Associated Properties. It is located in the county of Butler. Butler County, as of 2010, has 8,395 people living in that area. The issue with this one is groundwater contamination by VOCs used for grain fumigation. I'm not sure what that means in terms of grain fumigation. I'm guessing something to do with pesticides because I'm guessing there's a lot of farming up there, but I'm not really sure because I don't live there. This one was added to the list June 17th, 1996. The next one is Claiborne Street Well. It is located in the county of Hall. Hall County, as of 2010, has 58,607 people living in that area. The issue with this one is groundwater contaminated by PCE from solvent industry and dry cleaning. Kind of concerns me that they're having a bad pattern or a consistent bad pattern of having issues with properly disposing of the chemicals that are used for dry cleaning. Dry cleaning is not new. It's been around for years. It would be a very interesting study to see how dry cleaning has changed over the years because I do know that because of Obamacare or some of the stupid EPA laws that were passed during Obama's term, now there's a dry cleaning, a dry cleaning environmental fee whenever you take your clothes to the dry cleaner, which is stupid. So you're being punished for using a dry cleaning service, even though dry cleaning service is not new. So the industry has been around a long time. What I would want to know is what chemicals and processes did they use way back in the 30s and 40s? Because way back then, it was way more common for people to use the laundromat, a laundry service, and or a dry cleaner. Because the majority of people back then in the 30s and 40s, especially if they lived in a city, they did not have washers and dryers in their apartment or in their apartment complex. They had to go to a laundromat or a laundry service, and so for the week, you would drop off your bath towels, your sheets, your clothes, and then your dry cleaning, and that person, that company, probably a mom and pop shop, they would clean all of it. So I kind of wonder, how did they handle things back then? Because obviously, we don't do as much dry cleaning today as they did back then, but I just wonder, what different chemicals did they use, or is it the same? Because, my point is this, dry cleaning is not a new, dry cleaning is not a new industry. It's not a new process. I just wonder, what protocols are they not following to dispose of these chemicals properly? Because, the process is not new, so therefore the cleanup process should not be new. And it should be enhanced. Like if your industry changes over time, how you handle the waste products should be handled appropriately as your industry changes. So kind of tells me they're not keeping up with the times in terms of dry cleaning, much less wood treatment plants. So it's kind of one of those things. You have an industry. It's going to change over time. So your safety protocols have to be updated as you go along. Obviously, they're not being updated appropriately. So this one was added to the list. That's going to be October 14th, 1992. The next one is Cornhusker Army Ammunition Plant. I'm not surprised with this one because you are dealing with the Army and the types of things that they deal with. So this one is also located in the county of Hall. The issue with this one is groundwater contamination by explosives, soil contamination by explosives and heavy metals. This one was added to the list July 22nd, 1987. The next one is Garvey Elevator. It is located in the county of Adams. Adams County, as of 2010, has 31,364 people living in that area. The issue with this one is groundwater and soil contamination by VOCs used for grain fumigation. Again, I'm not sure what grain fumigation means. I'll need to look that up. But this one was added to the list September 14th, 2005. The next one is Hastings groundwater contamination. It is located in Adams County and Clay County. Clay County, as of 2010, has 6,542 people living in that area. The issue with this one is groundwater and soil contamination by VOCs, PAHs, explosives, other organics and heavy metals from several resources. So obviously, I guess there's a lot of stuff that was dumped there is what I'm guessing. This one was added to the list June 10th, 1986. The next one is Lindsay Manufacturing Company. It is located in the county of Platte, however you want to word that. The issue with this one is groundwater and soil contamination by heavy metals and VOCs from industrial plant. This one was added to the list October 4th, 1989. The next one is Nebraska Ordnance Plant. This one is located in the county of Saunders. Saunders County, as of 2010, has 20,780 people living in that area. The issue with this one is groundwater contamination by VOCs and explosives, some soil contamination and possible unexploded ordnance, whatever that means. This one was added to the list, that's going to be August 30th, 1990. Let me get a drink of water. Hold on just a moment. And I'm looking here, so unexploded ordnance, or I guess are unexploded bombs and explosive remnants of war that are explosive weapons that did not explode when they were employed and still pose a risk of detonation, sometimes many decades after they were used or discarded. So obviously that is an issue. The next one, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, so I'm going to spell it. It's OGALLALA, groundwater contamination. It is located in the county of Keith. Keith County, as of 2010, has 8,368 people living in that area. The issue with this one is groundwater contamination by VOCs from electronics industry and dry cleaning. So again, dry cleaning issues, and there shouldn't be an issue with what they do, because again, it's nothing new. This one was added to the list December 16th, 1994. The next one is Omaha Lead Site. It is located in the county of Douglas. Douglas County has 584,526 people living in that area. The issue with this one is soil contamination by lead from former refining plant. It was added to the list. That's going to be April 30th, 2003. The next one is Parkview Well. It is located in the county of Hall. The issue with this one is groundwater contamination by VOCs. It was added to the list April 19th, 2006. The next one is Sherwood Medical Company. It is located in the county of Madison. Madison County, as of 2010, has 34,876 people living in that area. The issue with this one is soil and groundwater contamination by VOCs. This one was added to the list October 14th, 1992. The next one and last one that is active is West Highway 6 and Highway 281. It is located in the county of Adams. And the issue with this one is soil and groundwater contamination by VOCs from a former Dana Holding Corporation plant. This one was added to the list. That's going to be April 19th, 2006. And I want to read to you a little bit about Dana Incorporated. So it's very interesting. This company is still around and they're super wealthy. Nothing wrong with being wealthy, but they haven't cleaned up their site. So that's an issue. It says Dana Incorporated, is an American supplier of axles, drive shafts, transmissions, and electrodynamic, thermal, sealing, and digital equipment for conventional, hybrid, and electric-powered vehicles. The company's products and services are aimed at the light vehicle, commercial vehicle, and off-highway equipment markets. Founded in 1904 and based in, I think that's Mumie, Ohio, the company employs nearly 36,000 people in 33 countries, so it's not truly an American company. In 2019, Dana generated sales of $8.6 billion, and that is billion with a B. And the company is included in the Fortune 500 list. So here's the thing. This company has caused or helped to cause a Superfund site, and they have not cleaned it up. They obviously make a lot of money, but they're not cleaning up their problem. Also, what I wanted to bring up is that this really brings to mind that electrical cars are not necessarily the way to go, and here's why. The byproduct of manufacturing for electrical cars caused a Superfund site to occur. So needless to say, it was proposed that this site be added in 2005, and then it was definitely added in 2006. So very quickly, it was identified that what they're doing is actually quite bad for the environment because it contaminated the soil and the groundwater. So what's interesting is that people are buying and driving electrical cars because they think it's better for the environment. Well, at what cost? Because yes, you have an electrical car and it's not running off of fuel. It's not running off of gasoline or diesel, but yet the byproducts and the waste products of manufacturing electrical cars has already caused one Superfund site that we know of. And again, Superfund sites are extremely hazardous and dangerous environmental sites where something really bad happened to the environment and it's toxic and hazardous to human beings, wildlife, and plant life. So obviously, creating these cars and trying to get more and more people to drive them is not the right way to go. But yet Tesla, no offense Elon Musk, but I'm not really a big fan of your company with learning about this. Electrical cars are a problem. And they are not the way to go. They are very expensive. They're not economical. I think, the charge on an electrical car, I think it maybe goes 300 or 500 miles, I'm guessing. Not super far, but if you run out of, electrical currents or whatever, you have to stop and dock it and charge it for like 3 hours. So I'll look up and see what cars are electrical. I'm sure it's not just Tesla, but I'll see how far they can go on one charge, because I do know that whenever they run out of a charge, it takes like 3 hours to charge those. So, let's say, for example, you're driving, I live in Oklahoma City at the moment, but let's say I drive down to Dallas to see friends or something. That's 3.5 hours for me with good traffic, right? Well, imagine when I get there, I am out of electrical fuel, but yet I want to turn around and come back home. It's going to take 3 hours to charge up my vehicle. That's crazy. Whereas when you drive a car that has gasoline fuel or diesel, you just pull up to the gas station and you fill it up. Another thing is that I haven't really seen any Superfund sites like this in terms of manufacturing cars where they caused a really bad Superfund site like this. Now, there is machinery and weaponry outside of automobile processing and building that has caused issues, but not the same as like what has happened when they are making electrical cars. Because this tells me they don't have the process down very good, and it's not a good process to begin with, because it is contaminating the environment, the very thing that electrical cars claim that they are protecting. So that's a big issue. So if you're thinking about getting an electrical car, please hold off on that, because I don't think it's good for the environment. I just don't think it's good. because however that car was made probably contaminated the soil and groundwater wherever it was actually put together and made. So that's a big issue because, to protect the environment, you shouldn't have to damage it first. Because then it's just a revolving door of cleaning up your mess all the time. The whole point of cleaning up these Superfund sites is so that we don't do the same thing again, especially don't do it twice or thrice is what I'm trying to say. Meaning, don't continue to make the same mistake. But obviously, they were making the same mistake with this one especially because they're continuously making electrical cars and making electrical components that go into electrical cars. That's an issue. So that tells me that it's not really that safe. Side note, I know from speaking with the IMSA worker, and I think I've mentioned this before, that whenever an electrical car gets in a car wreck, it's actually very difficult for the police, IMSA, and firefighters to get the people out of an electrical car that has been in a car wreck, and here's why. Electrical cars obviously have electrical currents in them, right? Well, let's say you're trapped in your car, and, IMSA, the firefighters, they show up, and they bring in the jaws of life, so to speak. Well, they can't put that metal into your car and try and get the door off if there is a electrical current going through your car, because it could electrocute you, the victim in the car. It could also electrocute the IMSA worker, the police, and the firefighter. Like whoever's trying to help you get out of there, they can't get to you because they could be electrocuted. Another problem is whenever an electric car has a car wreck with a gasoline car or a diesel car, because, it can easily cause a fireball or a firebomb, so to speak, because you have an electrical current that has just been exposed to gasoline or fuel. That's a nightmare. That's basically a ticking time bomb. So that has been some of the issues with these electrical cars. Like, we are not the generation of electrical cars. The majority of people drive gasoline-driven cars. That's the mode of fuel for them. We do have people that drive diesel cars and diesel trucks. Those are really good. So, having electrical cars, to me, is not the right way to go because they're not even safe for the driver. And also, let's say you're driving a gasoline car, right? And let's say you get hit by someone that drives a Tesla or whatever car there is out there that's electric. As a driver of a gasoline-powered car, you're taking a risk of having a huge fiery explosion, especially because of the electric current that's going through the electrical car, especially when it comes to contact with the fuel that is in your car if you have a car wreck. Also, there are people that are bystanders, other cars around you, pedestrians. They could be hurt and harmed as well. So it is very much a big issue. Also, there is training that needs to take place for IMSA, firefighters, and also police officers in regards to electricity and how to help people that are trapped in a electrically charged situation like that, because it's not the same as just a regular car wreck. Of course, all car wrecks are bad, but it's really bad when you have one that is an electric car and the other one is a gasoline car. It's not safe, it's not wise. I don't think we should have those anymore. I don't think it's right. I think electric cars, they're great for like go-karts and golf carts because you're not on the road. And if you run into something, it doesn't have a high potential to actually harm somebody or to take their life. Whereas if you're doing 60 or 70 miles an hour in an electric car, you have a car wreck, not only as a driver and as a passenger do you have to deal with the impact of the collision, but then you've got to deal with how the car crashes and containing the electrical components that can actually electrocute you or set you on fire. So, FYI, be aware of that because it is an issue. I've talked to different people about this, and it just happened to be by accident that people conveyed this stuff to me because of the industry that they work in. So just FYI, be aware of that. Practice safety and precaution, and do not buy an electric car because I don't think it's worth it and it's not safe. But anyway, there is one site that Nebraska has cleaned up and is good to go. And it is called Waverly Groundwater Contamination. It was located in the county of Lancaster. The issue with that one was groundwater and soil contamination by VOCs from grain fumigation and nitrites, sulfates, and heavy metals. This one was cleaned up and good to go as of November 20th, 2006. So that is it for this lovely podcast. I actually found a really funny article that I'm going to read to you on the next podcast. So after the funny article, let's see here, we will move on to the state of Nevada, which will be awesome to look at that. But until next time, as usual, I pray that you're happy, healthy, and whole, that you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.